Good morning. I am Preeti Samantha Bennett. I am doing my second year integrated masters in data science. This video lecture is about deadlock and its prevention methods. So what is deadlock? Deadlock is a situation where a set of processes are blocked because each process is holding a resource and waiting for another resource acquired by some other process. Now let's explain deadlock with an example. Two concurrent processes P1 and P2 make requests for the tape drives in the following order. P1 requests for one tape drive and the system allocates T1 to it. P2 requests for one tape drive and the system allocates T2 to it. P1 requests for one more tape drive and enters a waiting state because no tape drive is presently available. P2 requests for one more tape drive and it also enters a waiting state because no tape drive is presently available. From now on, P1 and P2 will wait for each other indefinitely since P1 will not release T1 until it gets T2 and carry out its designated task, whereas P2 will not release T2 until it gets T1. Therefore, the two processes are in a state of deadlock. Now let's talk about the necessary conditions for deadlock. Kaufman stated that the following conditions are all necessary for a deadlock situation to occur in a system. They are mutual exclusion condition, hold and wait condition, no preemption condition, and circular wait condition. Now let's talk about mutual exclusion. If a resource is held by a process, any other process requesting for that resource must wait until the resource has been released. Hold and wait condition. Processes that are allowed to request for new resources without releasing the resources that they are currently holding. No preemption condition. A resource that has been allocated to a process becomes available for allocation to another process only after it has been voluntarily released by the process holding it. Circular wait. Two or more processes must form a circular chain in which each process is waiting for a resource that is held by the next number of the chain. Now let's talk about deadlock prevention. If one of the four conditions are prevented, then deadlock does not occur. Also, this approach is based on the idea of designing the system in such a way that deadlocks become impossible. There are three important deadlock prevention methods. They are collective requests, ordered requests, and preemption. Collective requests. This request is used to prevent hold and wait condition. This prevention ensures that whenever a process requests for a resource, it does not hold any other resources. A process must request for all the other resources before execution begins. If all the needed resources are available, then they are allocated to the process so that the process can run to completion. If one or more than one of the requested resources are unavailable, none of the resources will be allocated and the process will wait. Ordered requests. This request is used to prevent the circular wait condition. Here each resource type is assigned to a unique global number to impose a total ordering of all the resource types. A resource allocation policy is used according to which a process can request for a resource at any time. But the process should not request for a resource with a number less than the number of any of the resources that it is already holding. For example, if a process holds a resource type whose number is I, it may request a resource type having the number j only if j is greater than I. Preemption. This request is used to prevent the non-preemption condition. When a process requests for a resource that is currently unavailable, then all the resources held by the process are taken away or preempted from it, and then the process is blocked. Also, the system checks if the requested resource is currently held by a process that is blocked, waiting for some other resource. If so, then the requested resource is taken away or preempted from the waiting process and given to the requesting process. Otherwise, the requesting process is blocked and waits for the requested resource to become available. Now let's recap. We saw that deadlock is a situation where a set of processes are blocked because each process is holding a resource and waiting for another resource acquired by some other process. There are 4 necessary conditions for deadlock: mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait conditions. Deadlock prevention is when one of the 4 conditions are prevented. Then deadlock does not occur. There are 3 important deadlock prevention methods. They are collective requests, ordered requests, and preemption. Thank you everyone.